Hey, Sasha ran towards me. What's wrong? Jack is dead, she said as she wiped her face. What? What do you mean dead? My voice almost to hysteria. Amber just called me, and Bruce and Peaches were admitted to the hospital this morning. My heart froze. Did this happen because of me? Hey, my name is Cameron. Have you liked and subscribed to our channel? Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time we post new content. Remember, the best people watch our channel. So, do you believe in them? I asked my mom as I returned Elle, my stuffed elephant, back on the shelf. Believe in what? She looked at me confused. You know, chain letters like in the movie we just watched? I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. However, every time I got one, it did not hurt to send it to the number of people that were required. I guess it's more of a, let's not see if it's real type of a situation. My mom hugged me. I'm off to bed. You should be too. You have training at school early tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Mom. I walked to my room and sat by my desk. I picked up my phone to call Sasha, but her mom told me that she was feeding her snake. I told her mom that I would see her tomorrow at school and said goodnight and hung up. That night, I sat up and wrote 5 chain letters to 5 people who had been teasing me since the school year began. Jack, Peaches, Veronica, Amber, and Bruce, all of who were on the track team. The chain letter read, "Every chain has a link, but each link has a different strength. Will you be the weakest link? Send this to 5 people or death will come knocking on your door. You have 24 hours. I signed all their names on each of the letters and then placed them in envelopes. I'll just slip them into their lockers when I go to track practice tomorrow. If it's good enough for a movie, it's good enough for me." I turned off the light and got into bed. "Okay, team, good practice. Same place, same time tomorrow," Coach Henry said as he blew the whistle. I went to the bleachers and grabbed my towel and bottled water, while the rest of the team grabbed plastic cups and used water from the team cooler. "So what's the plan for tonight?" Sasha said as she sat next to me. "Might watch a movie again with my mom. You want to come over?" "Sure." "Do you believe in chain letters?" "No. Why?" I looked around to make sure no one else was listening. Because I watched this show last night with my mom, The Last Chain Letter, and it was about a girl who got revenge on the people who were teasing her at school. So she used a chain letter to basically wipe them out. Sasha laughed. "Girl, you know that's just a movie, right? All you need to deal with Veronica and her clowns is some backbone, girl," says the girl who let Veronica stick her in a locker. A car honked. "That's my mom. I've got to go. I'll see you later." She began to walk away, but looked back. "The locker thing was a misunderstanding." I laughed. As I got up and walked into the school, I slipped the letters into the lockers. I couldn't wait to see their facial expressions on Monday when they opened it. Hey, if you stare any harder at Veronica, she just may come across here and start something, Sasha said as she opened her locker that was next to mine. When I didn't respond, Sasha looked at me. "What did you do?" "Nothing. Just drop chain letters into certain lockers." I smiled. "You know nothing is gonna happen, right?" "I know, but it was worth a shot." I shrugged. The bell rang. "Come on, girl, let's get this math quiz over and done with." During lunch, Veronica made a huge spectacle about chain letters and threw them in the bin. She said that whoever sent them were cowards, and that they should not hide behind silly chain letters, and if they wanted to do something, they should just come out and do it. Sasha was right. Nothing happened for the first few days. "Hey, Jack, you okay there, son?" "You don't look so good," Coach Henry said. "I'm okay. Let me just do one more lap, and then I will hit the showers." Coach Henry nodded and Jack took off. Halfway around the field, Jack collapsed. Coach Henry and the rest of the team bolted towards Jack. When we arrived, Jack was breathing, but unconscious. "Amber, call an ambulance. The rest of you give him some space." "Hold on, Jack. Help is on the way," Coach Henry said as he knelt next to Jack, holding his hand. A few minutes later, the ambulance arrived and took Jack to the hospital. Coach Henry accompanied him. As the ambulance pulled away, I looked at Sasha, guilt written all over my face. "Do you think?" We shared a concerned look. Sasha pulled me away from the others. "That stupid chain letter had nothing to do with it, okay? Let's go." The next 2 days were nerve-wracking. Jack was still at the hospital, and yesterday Peaches and Bruce missed school. "Hey," Sasha ran towards me. "What's wrong?" "Jack is dead," she said as she wiped her face. "What? What do you mean dead?" My voice almost to hysteria. "Amber just called me, and Bruce and Peaches were admitted to the hospital this morning." My heart froze. Did this happen because of me? It's not your fault. It's just a coincidence. How could this be a coincidence? Jack is dead. Peaches and Bruce are in a hospital. I need to find Veronica and Amber and tell them what I did. Maybe we can stop them from getting hurt. I got up and looked around the field, but didn't see Veronica. I ran into the school to look for her with Sasha on my heels. I found Veronica in the bathroom washing her face by the sink. She glared at me when I walked in. Veronica, I have something to tell you. I blurted out. What is it? I'm sorry about Jack. I'm the reason he's dead, and Peaches and Bruce are in the hospital. What are you talking about? I sent you the letters. Veronica looked at me in disbelief and then laughed. You really think you caused Jack's death? Sasha grabbed my arm. Let's go. This is ridiculous. As we turned to walk out of the bathroom, Veronica doubled over in pain, gagged, then threw up all over the bathroom floor, before slowly sliding onto the floor in a sitting position. Fear washed over me as Sasha ran to her side. Go and call Coach Henry, Sasha yelled. I stood frozen to the spot. I watched as Sasha left the bathroom and returned a few seconds later with Coach Henry. While Coach Henry attended to Veronica, Sasha pulled me out of the bathroom. This is not your fault. There must be a logical explanation for all of this. There has to be. That evening, as soon as I finished eating dinner, I was searching the internet looking for answers on how to break a chain letter curse when Sasha called me. Hey, so I spoke to Amber about the chain letters, and she said she may have a solution. What do you mean by a solution? Well, she said that her mother usually goes by this old lady who could tell the future, a psychic. You want us to go to a psychic. Do you have psychic money? Well, this may be our only hope. I'll pay for it, but we need to meet Amber in 15 minutes. We hung up. I got dressed quickly. Sasha and I met Amber and we walked to the end of the street until we came to a narrow alley. We followed Amber till we came to a quaint little shop. The showcase window was adorned with crystal balls and tarot cards. We walked in and the bell on the door jingled. Why, hello there. How can I help you? A charming older woman with a wrinkled face and a head wrap walked out from behind the back. Hi, we'd like to get some help and we are really hoping that you can help us, Sasha said. Well, have a seat, girls. Tell Auntie Clara what's going on. We sat around a round table that held a crystal ball in the middle. I told Auntie Clara what the situation was. My cheeks burned with embarrassment as I looked down at my hands, waiting for her to reply when I finished. Hold hands and let's see if we can get down to the bottom of this. Just then, Sasha's phone rang. Sorry, guys, it's my mom. I have to take this. Sasha walked outside to take the call, while Amber, Auntie Clara, and I held hands. We closed our eyes for a few minutes. Auntie Clara prompted us to open our eyes, and she looked directly at me. Even though you did not cause Jack's death, you opened the gateway and created an avenue where it became possible. The real problem is closer than you think. Just then, Sasha walked in. Peaches just passed away. Amber and I exchanged looks. Amber got up from the table and ran out the door. Sasha paid quickly, and we ran behind her. I can't believe this is happening. What am I supposed to do? Amber's eyes were large with fear. We will figure it out. Auntie Clara said that the real problem is closer than we think. She said I opened the gateway, but Sasha replied, What if it's another child at the school? What? I stuttered. Hear me out. What if another kid at the school decided to use the chain letter to their advantage? Veronica made a ruckus about it during lunch, so now they are using the chain letter as a cover to get rid of them. Yeah, but who? Amber asked. That's what we need to figure out, I said. The next 2 days, Amber spent her lunch times with Sasha and I. Hey, Amber, do you want another drink? Sasha asked. Sasha looked at me and I shook my head. Sasha got up and went to the cafeteria attendant to purchase one. Amber and I continued our conversation. Suddenly, a baseball landed on our table and knocked over my drink. Ugh! I said as I stood up and tried to move our lunches and assess the situation. I'm going to go get some napkins, I said to Amber and walked towards the cafeteria counter. Hey, Sasha, did you get the soda? I asked. I watched as Sasha folded something in her hand and clutched the soda. Yes, I was just trying to open this straw to put it in, Sasha said as she grabbed the straw from the counter. I got the napkins and went back to the table, closely followed by Sasha. Even after the bell rang and I sat in my afternoon classes, something about what I saw today just was not adding up. During the course of that week, Bruce also passed away, and Veronica was now fighting for her life. Amber stayed home from school that Friday, and I was worried. That evening, Sasha was stopping by so we could watch a movie. Just as I took the popcorn out of the microwave, the doorbell rang and I went to open the door. Hey, Sasha, are you ready for the Freddy vs. Jason movie? Am I ever? I love these old horror films. Did you hear from Amber today? I tried calling, but it went to voicemail. I called her today, and she said they had a family emergency and she should be in school on Monday. I sighed with relief. During the movie, Sasha wanted something to drink, so she went to the kitchen. Her phone began to ring. Sasha, your phone is ringing, I yelled to her. Could you answer it for me? She yelled back. I dug in Sasha's bag for her phone, but I soon lost interest in the ringing phone when my eye caught a small clear bag with small black balls. I pulled it out and looked at it closely. Who was on the phone? Sasha asked as she walked into the living room. Sasha, what is this? I asked, looking at her directly in the eyes while dangling the bag. Sasha snatched the bag and stuffed it into her bag. Sasha, what is this? I asked louder in a firm voice. I was tired of Veronica and her goons, so when you came up with the chain letter, I decided to teach them a lesson. I kept the droppings from the rats I used to feed my snake and contaminated the water cooler and Amber's drink. Don't you see how much happier the students are without Veronica and the others? I was shocked beyond belief. It had been Sasha all along? Those people died because of you. I walked to the front door and opened it. You need to leave. Sasha grabbed her belongings. I held her arm before she exited. I'm giving you until morning to come clean, or I am going to the police. As soon as Sasha left, I sprinted up the stairs to tell my mother what was going on. While we were talking, the doorbell rang, and my mom wondered who it could be. She grabbed her phone and headed to the door. When she opened the door, she saw 2 police officers standing outside. When she asked if she could help them, they told her that they received an anonymous tip that I contaminated the water at the school as well as Amber's drink. They showed my mother the small bag with droppings. The students that died had leptospirosis, which is caused from rat droppings and urine. My mother called me to explain my story to the officers. They told me that they wanted to take me to the station for questioning. I think I can clear this up, my mother said as she unlocked her phone and a few seconds later held it up for the officer. After a few seconds, I heard the conversation that Sasha and I had earlier. I looked at my mother confused. With a full video and confession on tape, the officers asked my mother to email the footage to the station as soon as possible. My mother said goodnight to the officers and closed the door. But how? I asked. My mother walked over to Elle, the stuffed elephant, and picked her up. Nanny cam, she said as she hugged me. Sasha had not been arrested yet because her family fled the country. Veronica passed away. Amber survived, but she is still very weak. A few weeks after the incident, I opened up my email and found an email from Sasha's email address. When I opened it up, it was a chain letter.